Hey guys, Fresh Cabbage here. Today, I'm bringing out another Honkai Star Rail video. This time, I'll be breaking down the movement system of the game. As a turn-based game, Honkai Star Rail's movement system might not be as intuitive as people might think, and can be quite confusing at times. So hopefully by the end of this video, you can have a better idea on how it works. And even if you feel like you know how it works already, hopefully you might still be able to learn a thing or two after. Let's get straight into it. So, an analogy I like to make to help people understand the movement system in Honkai Star Rails is to compare it to running on a track. All the characters start on the start line and begin running at the same time at different speeds. When a character reaches the finish line, they get to perform an action, and after that, they would move back to the start line and start running again. Now, we can translate this analogy back to the actual game. As we can see from this example, where the number signifies your movement meter and tells you how far you are from moving again. And this is calculated by applying the formula 10,000 divided your speed. With the basics in mind, we can now explore some different ways that can affect your movement other than speeds. First of all, we have skills that can change the turn orders. Examples of such include Bronia's skill, which advances your turn forward, and Walt's ultimate, which delays the enemy's turns. These skills all modify the movement meter directly, and in Bronia's case, make the movement meter instantly 0 so the character performs their action instantly. Another way of affecting the turn order is through skills or passives that gives the characters another action directly. Examples of these include using your ultimate skill or something like Seal's passive. While the character takes an extra action, the movement meter will stay in the same place, and when the character finishes their extra action, they will go right back to their place where they belong in queue. One last thing to note about the movement system is that there are two different ways to measure the movement in Honkai Star Rails. These are the turns and the cycles. Turns are used to measure how many times an individual character has moved. When the character successfully performs an action, the turn counter will go up accordingly by 1. Each character has their own counters and does not in any way affect another character's turn count. The turn counter is used to keep track of any buffs or debuffs an unit have received. And on the other hand, a cycle is a set amount of time, defined by 150 movements. And this is probably closer to what we would conventionally call a turn. So this concept is rarely used and is only seen in places such as the Forgotten Hall or special events, where you are asked to complete the battle in a certain number of cycles. And this about sums up all you need to know about the movements. With such, let's look at a couple examples where we can put the knowledge we learned into real team building considerations. First, let's look at Bronya, a character that was very much hyped up before the game's release, and for good reasons. Her skill, Combat Redeployment, allows her to dispel a buff from a single ally, advance forward their actions by 100%, and increase their damage by an amount depending on the level of the skill for one turn. As we now know, this skill would move the target from wherever they currently are to instantly the finish line. So value-wise, it would make sense that it would be of more value to choose a character who is further away from moving, rather than a character whose turn might be almost up. In similar logic, it is more value to use the skill on a character who is slow and hits hard, like Jin Yuan, compared to another character who's fast and moves often, like Seal. Another character we'll look at today is Pilla. It feels like as a support unit, Pilla have gotten way less attention compared to the other support units out there, such as Bronya or even Tingyun. However, there is still something standing out for her compared to all the other units in the game. Pilla is currently the only unit that can apply a defense down debuff to the enemy. Pilla's ultimate deals ice damage to all enemies with a base chance of 100% to inflict the exposed status. Exposed enemies have their defense down for two turns. This, combined with the fact that most enemies currently in the game are much slower than your characters, debuffs right now give much more values compared to buffing your own characters, since you will likely get multiple turns of action before your enemies even get a single. Because of this, I think Tela has a lot of potential and is currently very underexplored. And with that about wraps up the Honkai Star Rail movement guide. Hopefully you have learned something new from this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer all of them. And if you liked this video or found it helpful, feel free to also drop a like. And with that, see you next time.